Hey everyone, welcome back for episode 4 of our 10-part series where we are drafting a fantasy football team based on different starting draft picks. So we have the 5th overall pick here. We have Barkley and Kelsey to really choose from right here for the 5th pick. I ended up going Barkley. I know in another draft I didn't pick him. I chose Kamara first, but I think he's going to have a good year. It's just a matter of how he comes back from injury. Here in the second round, we're going to take a look at who's left. Joe Mixon sitting there. He's always ranked high in fantasy, but he always is a bust, so I'm not going to go with him. Stephon Diggs, he's going to be wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen to throw to. Josh Allen throws a lot, so I think Stephon Diggs is bound to have a big year, so he's a great pickup here in the second round if you can get him around spot 15, 16, 17, so we go with Stephon Diggs there. Here in the third round, we can see who's left. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's the next running back up. He gets picked. So we have Justin Jefferson, Waller, Mclaren. I kind of treat my tight ends like wide receivers. I mean, that's how you have to look at them. I end up going with Waller here. I know in the past drafts I picked my tight ends in the 6th, 7th round, but at spot 25 right now, if he's still sitting there, it's a pretty good pickup. He's going to be, if not the main target, tight end number 1 for the Raiders. So he's going to get a lot of touches from Derek Carr, so he's a good pickup there at 25. Here in the 4th round, we still only have one running back on the team so far, which I generally do not like to wait that long to get my second running back. So we're taking a look here, see what running backs are left. We have Sanders, we have Chris Carson. I know my past drafts, I have picked up Carson quite a few times. But I do think Sanders is going to get a lot of touches this year, especially with Jalen Hurts being new. He's going to probably struggle a little bit. They'll probably have to rely on the run game a little bit. So I'm going to pick up Sanders there. He's a pretty safe pick. Going into our 5th round now, it's just taking a look at what's available. If there's anyone that's slipped down the draft some, there really hasn't been anyone that's slipped too far. So we have some choices here. Julio Jones, Cooper Kupp, OBJ. We could go down and get Josh Allen, but that's really not a smart idea. So just taking a look around, see who's left. Julio Jones, the last 2 years, has only had 3 touchdowns each year or something like that. He's definitely struggled, but maybe in Tennessee he's going to have a new breakout year. So going to go with Julio Jones, take a chance there in the 5th round to see if Julio Jones makes a return and comes back. Even though I know A.J. Brown is going to be their wide receiver 1, but we're taking a chance there anyway. So taking a look at the team real quick, we have Barkley, Sanders, Diggs, Julio Jones, and Waller. So what we're still going to need is another running back just to have in case of a bye week or injury. So just taking a look at who's left. I don't really mind Chase Edmonds here because I think Houston is going to struggle in the air if they're getting rid of Watson. So gotta pick him up, even though they have James Conner as their number 2 now, but we'll see what happens. Here with our 7th pick, we're going to see what running backs are left. There's really not any huge running backs left. There's no more running back 1s at least. So we're just taking a look, wide receivers that are left. Move Robbie Anderson out here. I thought he had a better year last year, but he only had 3 touchdowns. So we're going to end up going with Juju here again, like we did a couple drafts ago. He's bound to have another good year. Pittsburgh's always been pass heavy, so going to go with Juju there. Here in the 8th round, we're going to start looking at quarterbacks now. Aaron Rodgers is still sitting here, middle of the 8th round, so like I've done in previous drafts, going to pick up Aaron Rodgers. As you can tell, I'm targeting certain players in certain rounds if they're still there. So taking a look at who's left, San Francisco kind of has a trio of running backs, so I don't really like that because you never know who's going to show up. Same thing with New England. They're the same way. So trying to figure out who to draft with this spot because I'd like to throw in a fourth running back. If you've watched any preseason, Dillon has been killing it for the Packers. I know he's still number 2 behind Aaron Jones, but he should get plenty of touches still. So I would not worry too much about drafting him in the 9th, 10th, 11th round if he's still sitting there. Sitting here at round number 10, this is where I like to draft my tight end number 2, 10th, 11th round. It's really good to have 2 good tight ends on the team in case one tight end has a bad year or one tight end gets injured. If you wait until you can pick someone up on the waiver wire, then usually it's not going to be as good of a player. So once again, Tunyon is sitting there, middle of the 10th round. Pretty much every draft, if he is sitting there in the 10th round, I will pick him up. He had 11 touchdowns last year, and one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets behind Devontae Adams, and then Randall Cobb's back there now, so he'll still get his fair share of touches. Sitting here in the 11th round, I'm going to be looking at wide receivers here, trying to figure out if Jalen Waddle's going to be worth the pick here. Coming out of college, it's just really hard to tell whether someone's going to blow up or not their first year. There's a few other wide receivers down in Miami, so it's kind of hard to figure out if he would be the best pick or not. We have Landry sitting here. He only had 3 touchdowns last year, just with the Browns being a run-heavy team. But I think from what I remember from last year, he was pretty consistent week to week, so he'll be sitting on my bench as just a backup in case of an injury. Sitting here with pick 12, this is where I start thinking about a second quarterback and taking chances on rookies or someone who maybe didn't have a good year last year that should have a bounce back year. Looking at Devontae Parker, what I'm thinking with Devontae Parker is there's 3 wide receivers now in Miami, and with Tua being kind of questionable with his ability, I'm not going to take it. Marquez Callaway has had a great preseason. He had a couple touchdowns with Jameis now throwing it to him. He'll be one of the biggest wide receivers on the team this year, so I really like Callaway in the 12th, 13th round, somewhere around there if you can get him. 13th round, we're really just looking at backup quarterback, see if there's any wide receivers left, see if there's any tight ends left. I really do not like taking a running back at this stage. There's very low return on investment for that. You'd rather just take a chance on a rookie. So I ended up picking Jameis Winston here. If you watched the last preseason game, he looked great. The last time he started, he threw 30 touchdowns for the year, but he had 30 interceptions. But not a bad quarterback number 2. There's a good chance he's like most improved player this year, so we'll see what he does. I don't mind him as quarterback number 2 to give him a chance. Sitting here with our 14th pick. This is our last pick before we do our kicker and defense. So just looking at what wide receivers are left. I ended up going with Paris Campbell. He didn't do much his rookie season, but I think with Carson Wentz there now, he might get some more touches. So going to take a chance with Paris Campbell and hope he has a breakout year. Sitting here with our 15th pick, this is where I choose my kicker. And I really like Sanders. He had a ton of points last year, very accurate. either him or Koo I would go with the options that were still available. And then looking at our defense, I am going to go with the Browns again. I think they loaded up in the offseason with their defensive picks. So we have Clowney on the D-line now, and then a lot more in the safety cornerback position. So I think the Browns are a safe pick here, but I really like to drop my defense every week and pick a new one based on matchups. So don't really care about defense too much. And then just overall taking a look at the team, pretty good team here. We have Rodgers, Barkley, Sanders, Diggs, Julio Jones, Waller, Chase Edmonds, and then Juju, A.J. Dillon, Tunyon, Landry, Callaway, Jameis. So pretty good pick. Join us next time for the next draft. Thanks.